I love the Magic, big place in my heart. You know, grew up watching them, grew up supporting them, always been my team, only team I've played for. You can, in the moment, get so caught up in individual games or, you know, feel the weight of the world on your shoulders for a few nights after you play.
Honestly felt like we had control of that game. Sometimes this season can feel like a grind. We have been battling all season. It's so gutting. It sucks, man, it so sucks.
You're connected to this club and it's not just a game.
And it is so hard every week to get back up after all that. But you do, that's your job, you get back up.
And if we are living our lives, you know, thinking that work's work and life outside of work is our life, then why do we spend half our lives working? Like, what is that to us?
Honestly, my heart goes out to my team. I love them so much and they're working their guts out every week.
Netball is my life. It's not the whole life, but it's definitely a big part of it.
The netball is so great and I'm so thankful for it, and you know, it's such a good vehicle to become a better player and a better person.
It's birthday day.
Whose birthday?
Mine.
How old are you?
This age.
So I grew up in Rotorua, and I had a lot of family that lived around here as well.
Go on, darling.
We're a very close family. I was one of 4 siblings. Netball started for me when I was 6 years old. I started playing because my older sister was playing and I had to do everything that she was doing, of course. So I started playing for St Mary's Primary School. We would meet at the Rotorua netball courts on a Saturday. We had so much fun. It was, yeah, just a really typical, I guess, kind of Kiwi netball childhood. Saturday morning, freezing cold, sometimes raining. I was a pretty standard netballer in terms of my progression. I kind of followed the pathway, I guess, and made like the year 6 Rotorua team in year 7 and 8, moved to John Paul College, which started at year 7, played right through and just made the rep team every year, I guess. And my school team, I just played school right up until year 13, as well as Bay of Plenty reps. And then in year 11, 12 and 13, I played for the New Zealand secondary schools team, which I was very lucky to do. We went to Adelaide, we went to Wellington.
1, 2, 3, let's go.
And in year 13, we played in Rotorua, the international kind of competition. So the Magic was always my team, right from when I was young. Like, I had the posters on the walls, I knew all the names, and I used to be like quite alternative, and I'd always say, like, if they said who's your favourite player, I'd always pick someone who wasn't really super famous to be like, oh yeah, I know the Magic. So that was kind of where Magic started for me, and also being a ball girl, like right on the sidelines. I was probably the best ball girl I've ever had. I haven't seen anyone as good as me being ball girl. I was like straight onto that ball. I wouldn't run on the court because that wasn't allowed, but I'd be running up the sideline and like I knew exactly who to throw it to. If it's a backline throw and it's going to the goal kick kind of thing. In year 13, they had the under 23 competition then. So I was in the Waikato or Bay of Plenty team, and Julie Fitzgerald was taking over the next year, and she came and watched our national competition, or the national championship, which we won. And after that, I got a phone call from her, because I actually didn't know. I knew that I really wanted to play netball after school, but I was kind of like, I do want to go to uni as well, so I'll just see what happens with netball, but you know, apply for all these unis and just whatever happens. And then she rang me and said, would I like to come on board with the Magic next year? And she's like, have a think about it and get back to me. And I'm like, what the heck, think about it? Why would I think about it? The answer's yes. So that was kind of where it started, and that was really cool because I was still at school then, like had a few months left of school, and contracting's kind of early, so it was really awesome to be able to finish school kind of knowing what I was going to do next year, the following year, and then actually get to play for this club that I had supported my whole life and was like my home club, and was filled with all these players that I just would sit on the sideline and be like, what the heck, I want to be like them one day.
Sam Sinclair comes on at centre for the Magic, her debut.
To go from being on the sidelines, watching, heavily invested in it, and and then to being in the team alongside these people was kind of crazy.
Centre, Samantha Sinclair.
Yeah, Laura was definitely someone that I looked up to as a player. So she was always someone that kind of scared me a little bit because she was so awesome. And I think just the fact that I could see that she was a hard worker and she'd just go and go and go, I was like, that's pretty cool. I never wanted to be exactly like her. I've never wanted to be like anybody. I am very happy being myself. I think there were lots of things when I was growing up that made me quite different from people, and I wanted to be different, I guess, in a lot of ways. I didn't feel pressured to be like anyone. It was funny when I got compared to her because I was like, well, man, she's so good and I'm not like that yet. But yeah, it's kind of cool when you know, she's someone who's so far up here, and then as your career grows or whatever, then you end up competing, and like we're at trials together kind of thing, competing for the same spots, and that was cool. So started January 2017, heading to South Africa and not actually thinking I was going to play. So my parents were like, we're going to be there for your first game, but you're playing Australia and South Africa, so we'll just book flights to England, which was the next leg. And then next minute, I'm playing a whole game against Australia in South Africa. And so mum and dad were pretty gutted that they hadn't gone, of course, but real proud to just see that on TV. And I was just saying, like, it was kind of a surreal experience. I always say your first game just flies by. And it does, and it was just amazing, I think. But I was, you know, still in 2017, there were still some amazing players around that had been around for ages, so the experience around me just made it so much easier. And I look back and I think I've watched it kind of recently and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm really glad to see that I've improved since then. It was very interesting because when you're in the Ferns and you're in it, like you're just in it, there's no questions asked, you are a silver fern, you know, like people recognise you for being that. And then even when I wasn't in the World Cup team, I still had people being like, congratulations afterwards, and I'm like, oh sweet as, thank you, wasn't there, but all good. But it was really one of those things that you just want to be there for it.
It all comes down to this.
The gold medal match at the 2019 Vitality Netball World Cup, Australia v New Zealand.
You're like, damn it, man, I wish I was there, part of that, because it looks so awesome. And when you hear everyone talk about it now,
What a story! What a story!
about how, you know, they got in this zone and everyone bought into our values, and that was it was definitely tough. Like, I desperately wanted to be part of it, but I desperately wanted them to win as well. Brought tears to my eyes, that whole thing, and it was tough, man. It was so stink. Just wanted to be there, but yeah, I don't know. I never thought my days were done after that. I don't know, I just felt like I had so much more to give, so it never occurred to me that maybe I should think about something else or just focus on magic. Like, I always wanted to be in the Ferns. But not just that, like it wasn't nagging in my head that I needed to be in the black dress. I just knew that I could give more or be better, or like, man, I'm the type of person you might want in your team because I can do some good stuff. So the turning point, I think, was I stopped focusing on being in. I kind of had to reassess what I was there for, and it was no longer about winning or being in the team or being the best out of everybody. It was just about, what am I doing, what is the best that I can be, and how am I, like, what am I getting out of this? You know, like, it's bigger than me. It's not just about the netball. So that was kind of the turning point. It was like, that's a real big mental shift, I guess, but realising that, yeah, I had a lot to offer that wasn't just netball. And it wasn't like, I want to do this for you. It was like, I'm doing this, and if you want me, you want me. And I think that was the turning point. And so, yeah, it made it easier when you don't get in to realise that's okay, because I'm not here to get into a team, I'm just here to give it my best. And my best might be different to someone else's best, but that doesn't mean we're not trying. So having someone like Knowles leading the way helped me shape my mindset around just bringing yourself. She wants to see what you can do, not what you can't do. She's not interested in that. So for me, it's like that kind of triggered the whole understanding of who I am. And so I do a lot of work on that now, reflecting and like prioritising stuff, what's actually important, and that is what Knowles is all about. And she's always said, go where your heart needs to go. And if that's at netball, be at netball. Like, be at netball 100%. When you're with your family, go and be with your family 100%. And I just think that's great. Like, everybody needs that, whether you're a netballer or not. The Con Cup at the start of 2021 was always like the team's intention and the coach's intention that we would win. Like, that was talked about. Priorities or objectives, number one, win the Constellation Cup. And that kind of scared me because that's really outcome focused. For everyone, coaches, management, players, it was about the process, it was about the game to game. It was about, like, what are you doing to add to this? And that was the cool thing. It wasn't about the individual, it was about everybody.
Is this a defining moment? Can they breathe easier? Yes, they can. So many defining moments. Dame Nolan Todua, just a big smile. What a monumental effort to come back in the last 10 seconds of the game.
And I think when the win did come, it was like unreal. It was cool.
And there it is. You might not have heard the buzzer. The Constellation Cup is coming to New Zealand.
In both the Magic environment and the Silver Ferns environment, we are encouraged to share with each other in a safe space who we are, what's important to us, and really peel back the layers to get to the core of what we're about. And for me, my faith is really important to me, and you know, sometimes in netball it can be really hard to share that part about you, but it is really important to me. It makes up a big part of who I am. So Joe and I got married in a Catholic church, and that's such a deep kind of, it's a sacrament, so it's very deep spiritual connection, I guess. And you know, we always have conversations how we want to raise our kids, and actually having God at the centre of our lives is the first way to do it. So, you know, like, we are just one part of this massive plan, and it's so easy. You can just look around and see it, you know, like we live in this amazing place on earth that we have to look after and treasure and be thankful for. My faith is always going to be there. It's been there since I was little and since I was baptised, and it's going to be there right up until hopefully past the day that I die, and that is what I guess encompasses my whole life. So that's something that I sometimes struggle to share that with people, because it's, you know, it's not something you just talk about. Like politics and religion and all that sort of thing are kind of subjects that you'd only talk to with people that you really trust or you know are going to agree with you. But it's something that's really important to me, and if it's really important to me, then why shouldn't I share it, or why wouldn't I share it? If I believe that it's so awesome and such a special thing, then I want to be able to, you know, not preach or Bible bash, but just be like, this is important to me, kind of thing. It's quite common in sport to just put on this front and to be this sports person, when actually the core of a sports person is the person. And so you've got to be that first, and I think when you are that first, then you become the better sports person for it. I feel young, and I think that's good, because I think age is just a number. I don't think there's ever a deadline on anyone when you can still give stuff back and you still want to be there, and I really want to be there. There's definitely times of the season that it's really hard, and you question why you're doing this. Why do I put myself through this? Why do I put myself out there to be judged or to feel like absolute crap after a game, to carry so much stuff, to I don't know, like to spend all this energy? But then I'm like, no, that is what I want to do, because this is the environment that I want to be in, and that has given me so much that I still feel like I've got lots to give to it.